it's your boy DD758 Sakafet. To all my subscribers, I'd like to say thank you. And to all my new subscribers, I'd like to say thank you. Don't forget to hit the like button and don't forget to leave a comment. So today I got my co-host with me, the lovely, beautiful Kia. And we got a special for you guys today. We got from Ready to Love, we got the lady in the house, the lady of the hour, Miss Ida. So let's bring Miss Ida up and screen. What's up, Ida?
Hey, y'all.
How you doing?
Good. How are y'all doing?
We're good. I love your top. You got a beautiful top. I must say it's
Thank you.
all right. So you got everything. You got everything popping today.
Thank y'all. Should have seen me 30 minutes ago, child.
So my first question to you is like I would really like you to tell the people who is Ida and just let us know what Ida is about because we saw the Ida on Ready to Love, but we want to know who Ida is.
So I would like to just minor correction. I know this is your show, but that was not Ida that y'all. Okay, I said those things. It was me, but I was just chopped up, and so I'm glad that you asked me that question. I think that I know that I'm a person that's like I'm really easygoing. I'm really fun. I like to have fun. I'm very family oriented, and by that I mean like I'm always spending time with my family. Like I live like 10 minutes from my mom, 10 minutes from one of my sisters. We have like a family text message chat all the time, and my nieces and nephews. Like, I'm the cool aunt, as y'all already know. Yeah, so my nephew actually just texted me yesterday about going to Rolling Loud in Miami, and I don't know if he just want me to pay for the flights and the hotel if he really want to go with me, but we're going. So just I'm really all about like my nieces, nephews, my family. I enjoy what I do for a living. I like to say that I don't live to work. I work so I can live. Like I'm like, all right, that's enough work for today. Let's go have some fun. So I don't know, that's really a lot about me. I went to Prairie View A&M University. I pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha, sorority incorporated in 2003. Yes, super young, right? And I work for a telecommunications company. I'm a development manager. So I work with a lot of people in the sales organization. So that can be fun at times. I know people said I'm chatty. It's my job. So yeah, I mean, I enjoy things like I like to do calligraphy and I like to collect postage stamps. And I know not like in a book, not like that, but like I actually like to go to the post office and get the new stamps. Sometimes they release them online, but I want if somebody out there works for the post office, I have a grievance. Why do I have to pay shipping for stamps from the post office? Y'all coming over here anyway. I don't get it. So yeah, so I do that. And then when I'm not doing that, I'm just like filling shopping carts and just abandoning them. At least 3 a day on the internet.
I got you.
At least 3.
All right, I appreciate that.
Spending all your money on shopping carts because I mean you probably don't need it, right?
Right, but Amazon will save your car forever. And so you're like, I forgot I wanted them cool little pens, them gel pens with the glitter. Go and get them, and then they'll tell you this dropped 12% since the last time you were here. You're like, well, shit, I gotta get them.
Okay, Ida. My second question to you would be, what made you apply for Ready to Love? Like, let us know, like, what made you apply?
For Ready to Love?
Yes.
Because I wanted to try something different. I had done every kind of dating you could think of. I've done speed dating, blind dates, set up. I mean, like, my mom will come home from the bank and be like, I got a friend for you. That never works out when my mama got a friend for me because she's at the age where she's like, but he got a good job. And he was like, mama, no. Like, she hasn't done a good job in that department. I've done all of it. Long distance, Match.com, eHarmony. I even paid for eHarmony one time. eHarmony is expensive as hell. Anyway, I've done it all. That was years ago, though. I've done it all. And I was like, you know what? I'll try anything once. It seemed like it was fun. And it really seemed like in the previous seasons that they really value like the individuals, like who you were as a person. Everybody wasn't the same. They had like a little something for everybody, you know, a little like that might be your type, that might be your type. They had a lot of different women with careers, but had a lot of different men who were entrepreneurs. And you know, I just thought it'd be interesting.
Well, I have to just commend you because I was like, she is confident. I would be scared to go on any reality show just Period. I was like, she's confident.
Oh yes, thanks. I am. I'm like, I just thought it would be fun, and I was like, if these men are from Houston, I told the producers, I probably already know half of them. But ironically, maybe if I had to say off the top of my head, I know at least 5 of them are not originally from Houston. So probably more than that.
Okay.
So I didn't know them.
So you just gave us your why dating or looking for a date. So how did you feel when they actually reached out to you and contacted you and say you were selected? How did you feel? Who did you call first?
It was so long ago. Just a little bit about the application process. I feel like the first thing is answer these 2 questions and send us a picture, full body picture. I was like, this might be a scam. You know, full body picture requests, they make me uncomfortable. But I did it, and then I got an email back from somebody local. So it's like you get handed over from all of these different agencies, basically. So it went from somebody local. They passed me on to somebody in Chicago, and then they passed me on to somebody in LA. And it's you don't get to the OWN network until the final round. So even throughout all that, it was a long process, and because of COVID, it was longer. But you have to use back all this paperwork. They want you to meet with a psychiatrist. It's so many things you have to do. And then when you finally do get to talk to OWN, the people from OWN, and there's this panel interview with 10 people on there on a Zoom call. And it was just a long process. And so I never felt I'm a person, I don't get excited about stuff until it actually happens. So when I finally did get a call, I think it was maybe August, when they called me about doing the show, but it was going to be Last Resort. And so they ended up calling me back and asking me to be a standby. And then they were, we just don't think you're gonna like any of the guys. And I was like, well, shit, now I'm I could have went last year and got this over with, right? But so they thought about filming this season there as well, but they decided not to. So by this time it's October, and I'm just I told my family that I was interviewing, but honestly, they called me in maybe November, and they were like, are you still single? Are you still interested? I was like, first of all, am I still single? Have we met? Yes, I'm still single. And so they're like, all right, well, we're going to call you after Christmas. We're going to start filming in January. I was like, I'm a planner. So I'm like, no, there ain't enough time. I need to know more. So they did call literally after the new year. And then we're going to start filming this month. And I was like, okay, still up until, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. It took a while for me to tell people because I just didn't want to say anything, and I didn't know if it was really going to happen. So if I would have told them in January I applied for this show, literally it was a year later when I started filming. So I didn't really call that people. I don't know. I just didn't call them many people. A lot of people, I still haven't told them about this show. I don't know. I don't know. Just haven't really talked about it.
I don't see it, man. That show is popular, so even if you haven't told people, I think a lot of people know by now.
Yeah. I'm always getting stopped by somebody, daddy or granddaddy. Last night, this guy was like, hey, are you Ida? And I was like, no. He was
Ida, you have that signature hair. So it's just it's just this is Ida. You know Ida. So
no, it's your voice. I know you. It's you. I was like, okay, so okay. He was like, man, let me tell you. I was like, okay, can we go talk about this at the bar?
Okay,
it took so long because, like you said, are you still single? Because that's how the people would have, if it took that long, people get new, boos and everything, and they take.
Girl, I had a boo and lost the boo, and baby, I had 4 COVID boos. But when they called me, I was single again. I had 4 COVID boos, but one real COVID boo that was you know what? If we beat this, I'm gonna still fuck with you. But it didn't work out.
Well, let me. I would like you to elaborate on when you said that you don't need a man, because I've been in a similar relationship like that and it didn't work out. But can you elaborate and let me know why did you make that comment?
That was another creative delivery of an entire conversation. What I said was, and I know that my inflection and how fast I talk can sometimes be confusing for people, but what that conversation was about, it was at home, and they were asking me what did you learn from your parents about love and relationships? So that was the question. And from my mom, I learned that I didn't need a man. And my mom knows this. I tell her this all the time. That's what she taught me. But and to be independent and have your own stuff and all of this other stuff. And that served a purpose for a time. Because, that's the conversation that when you go into college, like, don't get up there and do X, Y, Z, and, all the talks you may give your daughter when you go to college that's surrounded around how, don't start acting a fool and get caught up and with a nigga, whatever. Excuse the language. That was what my mama said though. But then the part that was missing, and I've had this conversation with her, is that she taught me all of that, but we didn't really take time for me to learn like what I should be looking for when it's time. And so I had to kind of realize that like I was either emulating things that I saw that I didn't want to, or they were unhealthy and I didn't know they were unhealthy because I'm just looking at what's around me, or I was just making it up as I went. And none of that was working. And so I actually shared this. I don't know if I shared this, but it don't matter. But so my therapist and I were talking. And so she was just like, you have a pattern of dating men that you're not equally yoked with. And that was something I created. So I talked about how I just kind of emulated some things and I kind of created some things. One of the things I kind of created was I wanted to date men who were not my equal. Like, I didn't want them to really, I just wanted them to do what I said they should do. And I didn't even know this is what I was doing until like I was having a conversation with my therapist, and I was like, he don't even be doing this. He don't even know how to do that. And she's like, but he's always been like that. And you've been doing it all this time. So why would he change? And I was like, you're right. And so then I started looking back at every relationship I've had since like 12th grade. And I just always gravitated to men who were less opinionated and less maybe worldly, I guess you could say. That's a nice way to say it. And so up until like maybe my last relationship, that was probably the first time I dated somebody who I felt like, okay, got it this time. I got it this time. And it was all those things. It was, him making decisions and him being, very forward thinking, and him like planning for us and us making decisions together. It was a good balance for me in that respect. So what I also told him in that conversation was that from some of the decisions and relationships I've been in, I've learned that, and through my therapist, I've learned what works for me and what doesn't work for me, and how my behavior is keeping me from potentially getting what I want in a relationship. They didn't air any of that.
So I'm so glad that you mentioned the therapy and you just like made us understand, because the internet went wild. I was like, poor Ida, they killing her, because they was like, Ida just said she don't need a man, and the internet was on fire. But I'm glad that you mentioned this, because so many women,
okay,
are taught that. So my mom told
me, they killed him, child. They killed you. Hung him on the cross. So I'm not special. But yeah, they didn't show the whole thing, and that was the whole conversation. I think I even got teary-eyed because I was like, I love my mom, and my mom was 14, and she did an amazing job with her kids. I think that we were able to overcome, like, how it's like statistically, like if your mom was a teen mom, it's a high chance that you're a teen mom, or if you're, you have parents in prison, it's a high chance you're gonna go to prison. That's all science. I'm making that up. But I feel like she went out of her way to make sure that we didn't make a lot of mistakes that we were predisposed to. And so in doing that, it was kind of like, listen, I made sure y'all survive and y'all got a good life. But I don't know all the rest of that. I mean,
So I'm glad you were able to elaborate, because you were like giving us some real good information. Like you said, they cut it up and chopped it up so much, and everybody was just looking at you side. I was like, this Ida. So you did say something else that we wanted some more information on. When you said a man dealing with you has to be patient. So what did you mean by that? Like, I know you said you went to therapy, but what do you mean, like, as far as patience?
I think that anybody going into a relationship has to pack their patience, because everything is not going to be your way all the time. Everything is not going to be, it's even so simple as like, we moving in together, we got married, well, who couch are we keeping? Like, that's a negotiation. Like, you're always going to have to be willing to, if you love somebody, part of that is being able to bend to their will. So for me, I'm a person that's like, if he's, he's like, hey, I really want us to keep our couch. I'm like, okay, well, why? Well, okay, well, like, I like to have a discussion, and I hate when people escalate to saying, you like to argue. No, we're having a discussion. I'm telling you why I feel this way. You're telling me why you feel that way. And like, why can't we just communicate and talk about it instead of being like, which is the dysfunction of a lot of relationships. We're just gonna argue, we're gonna go to our corners, and then when we hungry, we're gonna talk again, and we're never gonna resolve anything. No, I want to talk about it and resolve it. And some people don't want to, but I'm like, if you want to be with me, I need you to exercise a little patience and try to understand me.
So, Ida, do you let them go to bed?
What?
So do you let them go to bed? Because some people, because I'll be like, I'll walk away. I'm the type of person to walk away from you. So do you just be like, okay, we're going to pick up later if he don't want to finish? Or do you just be like, okay, we'll pick it up
If
later?
he doesn't want to finish, I'll respect that. I'm not a person that's like, we're going to talk about it now. But what I will do, and anybody I've dated will tell you, if he doesn't want to talk about it right then, I'll just start writing. I like to write. I journal a lot in my spare time. And I will just write. And so like one of the people, my ex-boyfriend, what are we gonna do? Like we got to a point, like at an impasse at a point of our relationship right before we broke up, or like I thought we couldn't really talk without going in circles. So like we had this notebook on the table and I would write to him. And then when he came in, because we work kind of opposite schedules, when he came in, he would write me back. And then when I came, like that's how we had to communicate for like a little while. Then we ended up breaking up. But we got to say a lot of things that we couldn't say face to face because it just wasn't going anywhere.
Okay, I feel you. But on the show, you were feeling Diedrich, and was there any other cast member you picked, you had an eye on? And also, after you got eliminated, did you reach out? I heard you reach out to production on another interview to get someone's number. I'm kind of curious as to whose number did you try to get as well?
So, so the first question, was I attracted to anybody? Yeah, I did like Diedrich at first, but I don't know. Like Diedrich told me, or maybe he said this on TV, but he didn't tell me in person, communication, that I was giving him a homegirl vibe or something he said. I don't know. But I did initially. I think that I was maybe too fast paced for him. And so because like we were talking about his business, and I'll talk about this in a second, but we're talking about his business. He does like meal prep. And I was like, oh, okay, well, do you do like, I was asking him all these different questions. He was like, no. I was like, well, do you do such and such? He was like, no. I was like, okay. So, so I was just like, okay, these are just questions. But then, you ask 3 questions and people say talk too much. So, but I did like him initially, but we did not connect really the first day. On the meet and greet, we didn't really connect. We connected the second day, and they didn't even show our entire conversation. We actually had a really good conversation the second day. Besides that, I spent quite a bit of time with Ron on the first day. They didn't show any of that. Like we were like sharing a blanket, sitting outside by the fire and talking. And it was a vibe that day. I spent a lot of time with Khalil before he went home. I actually talked to him for so long. The production was like, listen, okay, it's some people y'all gotta get to know. I was like, okay, dang. But yeah, I did talk to them the most probably. I did talk to everybody, but there are some people who like the connection just wasn't there, or maybe they feel like their stock was a little high, leave it at that.
But who did you, when you reach out to production, when you reached out to production, I mean, after you left the show?
You want to know who number I asked for?
Yes.
Khalil.
Yep. All right. That's
you. And guess what they said?
I'm sorry.
Khalil.
That's what they said. They never replied. Like, no, they wouldn't do it. So, yeah.
Well, I'm sure y'all probably link up because he did speak highly of you. I heard him on another interview, so I was like, interesting, because he was kind of quiet to me. But my question for you, another thing that like just lit up the internet. So when Stacey was talking to Diedrich, I believe the first time you joined them on the couch or whatever, and then when she was talking to AJ, you kind of like, joined again. So the internet was like, okay, Ida does not know boundaries. So we want to know what was really going on there.
I'm glad you asked. So with the David situation, I was actually talking to KG on an opposite, not like a perpendicular couch, like that couch was going this way. And I was over here talking to KG. And we were actually having a really good conversation. I talked to him for a long time because I was like, man, I watched season 3 and I thought he got played, but not really. Like I was telling him that like I have a degree in communications and radio TV communications as well. And I was understanding what he was telling Naya last season. Did y'all watch season 3? Yeah. So I was understanding what he was telling her, like, yeah, if I got it, you got it. But I work in radio and you know what I'm saying, I'm out here on my grind or whatever. I understood what he was saying, but then like a lot of people didn't understand what he meant by I work in radio. I was like, I get it. We talked about that. We talked about like just all the stuff that comes with wanting to be in that industry. And so they were like, here come production. Hey, we want you to go join Stacey and David on the couch over there and just join their conversation. This me.
Oh.
Okay, fine. So I go sit with them. I don't know. I don't want to say they weren't talking about shit, but they weren't talking about shit. So, I guess I was over there. I, made a few jokes because I'm just like, I don't want to be here on this couch. So, Ron was sitting across from them. So I was like, finally, I can go talk to Ron because I felt like they were kind of keeping me and Ron apart. Like when I got to brunch, when everybody got there, they had us go in a certain order, had us sitting in a certain place. So when I got in, Ron was already sitting like at a 2-seat table with somebody else. I was like, ain't this a bitch, right? I'm sorry, can I curse on here? It's too late.
Well,
I'm sorry, I'll try.
Just limited.
I'm sorry. So when I was sitting with David and I saw Ron like available, I went and sat by Ron. I'm like, oh, I've been looking for you all day. It's a vibe. Baby, when I tell you different production again, they were like, hey. I was like, Stacey and AJ are sitting on the inside and we want you to go ahead and join their conversation. I was like, but I don't want to talk to them. Like, I don't want to talk to them. They were like, we know, but we just like, I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll go. Sorry. I was like, forget it, I'll go. So I went in and you saw how little that little seat was. So I'm like, this doesn't make sense. So what I'm trying to say is I know people are like, you can't blame it on production. Why can't I? They asked me to do something. I am here. Just like filming a reality show is a version of a job. You're getting paid to do something that you signed a contract to say you would do. So I didn't think they would make it a thing. Like they were asking a lot of people to do that. Like anybody can tell you at any moment in the day, they can come and be like, oh, okay, well, can y'all come over here and sit next to the group? But can you sit on that couch and you sit on that couch? So they want to mix up the conversation, but they have a very finesseful way of telling you to do it. I didn't know they were going to make a compilation out of it. So I had no interest. And I'm not in the interest of full disclosure, I haven't watched that whole episode, which I don't think they even showed the conversation we were having, probably because it was too serious of a conversation. I didn't want to be over there. I had plenty of people. That's the thing, like y'all want to say, oh, well, the men said such and such, because you wouldn't let me talk to the men who was feeling me. You kept having me go talk to men who's already talking to somebody. So of course, those men would be like, she's just so rude and nosy. And you're taking me away from the men who actually want to talk to me, who I'm actually talking to. So,
production is controlling the narrative of the show then.
Yes, of course. So, now, anything I said in my mouth, I said it. But
So I want to ask you, Ida. So I've been watching your other interviews. So you mentioned that you were attracted to AJ at first, and I know he was a big number on there. Like everybody was just like falling like for AJ. So you said something interesting. Like originally you thought he was kind of nice looking, but after conversation, what changed?
So we were talking. Okay, full disclosure. So the first time I talked to AJ, when you come in, everybody's like it's like a family reunion. Like we come into the house, they drove us up one by one, so you didn't see. Like I didn't see a woman or a man, anybody until I got in the house in the backyard. So I come in, everybody's hugging like they already know each other. Everybody's super nice. And so like I go to hug the guys, like it wasn't that many people there when I got there. But so we went and gathered to take some pictures by the pool, and AJ was standing in front of me. And so when we got, they were like, okay, the pictures are over. Y'all go mix and mingle. So I touched him right here by like under his elbow. I was like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? He was like, yeah, I want to talk to you too. I was like, okay. So we went and we sat on like this. It was like the property was huge. It was so many places to sit. So we went around yonder, wherever, and sat down and we were talking. He was like, yeah, a lot of people, were like wanted to holler at me, after the photos, but like you were like the most aggressive. And I was like, I don't understand. What do you mean? He was like, okay, he said maybe aggressive is not the right word. So then honestly, like in that moment, I was like, Like that just, right. But we got past that. We got past that. We had a really good conversation. And then somehow throughout the day, like they kind of control the flow of like what we're doing and come to the pool. We need to do this and take pictures. Y'all can take a restroom break right now. Like you couldn't just be like, listen, I got to pee. Can you take this mic off of me? Like you have to do it at a scheduled time. So at some point it was like getting later, and we were standing out like at the edge of this pool, and we're like talking, and I'm like, why are you ready to love what you're looking for? And he's telling me, and I'm like, I'm looking into his eyes, I'm feeling like I'm not out there, right? And so he was like, what about you? And so, I just deep breath, because I talk all the time. Actually, I don't, because they didn't show that long ass answer he gave me, but okay, here we are. So I'm telling him, I'm like, well, this is why I feel this way, and this is what I'm looking for. And so like I kind of see him doing this, like over my head, because he's taller than me, looking towards the house. And I was like, he was like, I think, everybody's over there. Why don't we go stand over there with everybody else? And I was like, okay. So we walk over there, and I was like, did production ask you to come over here? He was like, no, I just want to be close to everybody else. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna lie to you, like they kind of killed my vibe. So we might come back around sometime tonight. I don't know. So it was just like I just felt disregarded in that moment. And that, like I said, like y'all already said, his stock was really high, and it apparently remained that way. I get it, but it costs nothing to be attentive when you ask me a question. So that's why I felt like it was no cap. Like at the end of the day, I didn't dislike him, but I was just kind of like, in our first interactions, you seem like, kind of, you could be careless, and that's fine, because you don't have to care. It's 10 women here. You're not gonna like all of them. So I get it, but I didn't like that. I didn't like the way it made me feel, to be clear. I didn't like the way it made me feel. It made me feel like, hello? Like if we were away from the crowd talking, having like a very private moment, for you to interrupt that to say, let's go stand closer to the crowd, lets me know you really are not interested in what I'm saying. And that's fine, but it's odd, in my opinion.
Right.
But they got me on TV rude.
Let me ask you, when you were talking to Didrik said that you were nervous, and you agreed that you were nervous. And also some of the guys were saying you were very talkative, and that's unattractive to them. So was it because of you were nervous that you felt very talkative, or was it you were just trying to get comfortable being around them?
I'm a very talkative person. Anybody who knows me knows I've never met a stranger. I was just on vacation with my two best friends like 2 weeks ago, and I saw this group of girls taking pictures, and they were taking a friend picture, but I feel like they weren't giving her all her angles. I was like, listen, sis, let me take your pictures for you right quick. I got you. And my friends were like, we are leaving you. I was like, she said it's her birthday. I'm helping with her pictures. Like, I'm just that person. I'm just a talkative person. I'm just nice to people. I'm a person that's like, I don't care who you are and what you look like. If I'm walking down the street, we get an elevator deck, I'm like, how's your day going? Good, how's yours? Oh, let me tell you. Like, that's just who I am. And so I understand that some men may find it unattractive. No, I don't understand that. I comprehend what they're saying. I don't understand. Like, I'm not like, how I get that. I don't really identify with that, because I have been on dates with people where I'm like, ooh, so boring. Or, but to the people who like, she's talkative, that was Jason. Again, I didn't watch that episode either, because after I saw that, I was like, I know you didn't, because Jason, when he came up to me, they didn't show this. He's like, hey. I'm like, hey, I've been trying to get to you all day. You've been busy. I'm like, plug it up. Yeah, I mean, so we were having a whole conversation. He told me he's from LA, but he moved to Houston. We were talking about the first time I ever went to LA. We were laughing and all of this stuff. Now listen, if these people want to get in their upfronts or their confessionals and let production lead them into a line of thought, that's on them. But I would more respect the fact that like they edited this way, and then you said this, and then they put it together when that's not really what happened. Additionally, they tape those like the interviews that you see, the cut-ins, they tape them like days or a week after the show. And so they may come in and say, so do you think you think Khalil is funny? And then you like, no, I don't think he's funny. And so then they'll put that with Khalil telling a joke and me saying that and me just sitting there like this. And then now you see me in the confession like, I don't think he's funny. When it had nothing to do with each other. Now, Jason may have genuinely meant that, but that's not the energy I've gotten from him. And I've seen him since then. And he is so nice and so kind. I don't have anything against Jason. And I don't feel like that was the content. That was his original thought, was just to be like, oh, she talks so much. Because you were talking to me, friend.
But Ida, okay, that's just your personality. You're a talkative person, right? Mm-hmm. That's how you that's how you socialize. That's just in you. But don't you think maybe it to a man, or it might come off as maybe sometimes you're too aggressive, or sometimes they just prefer a woman that would probably just go with the flow. And one more thing I wanted to ask you, since you're a talkative lady, like, do you get men always coming up to you all the time, or do you have to go and talk to men? Like, do you have to approach them, or do they approach you?
Listen, if I open my door to my apartment right now, somebody will pick their head in here like. Now, I'm not saying these are the highest caliber of men. I'm not saying these are no ballers, no shot callers, but I'm not saying any of that. What I will say is that men have the most confidence in the world. I was me being talkative, like a man who washed your windshield will actually for your phone number. Men have the most confidence. So a woman has the confidence that I think rightfully so. Like, I'm proud of who I am and I love who I am, so I'm going to be confident. If a man would prefer a woman who talks less, then he should find a woman who talks less. Because if you're asking to talk less and compromise, it's a lot of things I'm willing to do. My last boyfriend was like, hey, I really like your hair long. I grew my hair out. I had some braids. Like, I was like, that's a compromise I can make. I'm easy to get along with. Hey, I like this orange couch. I don't want no orange couch, but that's not going to kill me. I'll compromise. But you asking me to talk less, that's like me asking you to grow your hair back when we know you don't have a hairline. If you can't do it, it's not fair, right? It's like me saying, oh, if I'm gonna with you, you got to grow that hairline back. It's not fair because that's who you are. That's who you are, right? Okay. So your question, if me talking, me using my mouth, because me want you to use your mouth when it's convenient for them. But if me talking is an inconvenience to you, or it makes you feel away, and this goes for the ladies out there too. If you don't like it, first of all, I only date men, so thank you for your interest. And it just doesn't. That is not of any consequence to me. I can see if you're like every time we go out, you always starting something when we go out. You need to pipe down, or like every time we go out to eat, you always talking to the waitresses crazy. That's different than you being like, oh, every time I come home from work, you want to talk about your day. Yeah, I do. Like, I just feel like that's like telling somebody, get a nose job. People are who they are. And if a man doesn't like you, if a woman doesn't like you, it's like, this is Houston, the fourth largest city in the nation. Find somebody else. To answer your other question, I can't tell you last time. I will approach a man if he's standing at the bar not buying a drink. I need to get to the bar. Like, say, friend. But I can't tell you the last time I approached somebody to ask them like for their number. Because you'll always feel like, if I ain't say something to him, was he gonna say something to me? You'll always feel that way. So I find that the only men, let's also be clear, I don't want to name any names, but I can't think of one person on the show that I haven't talked to subsequently that really didn't have a problem with me.
All right.
Okay. Or moving in my DMs. So
you're trying to say something. Wait, yeah. Y'all have me feeling. I feel like I'm not included in the homegirl group because I ain't got my teacup.
Wait on you. Go get you a teacup.
Because I know people want to know who in your DMs, but if you don't want to answer,
it's only 10 people. It's only 10 people, so I can say 80%. I'm not saying they're talking. I'm not saying they're saying anything slick. I'm not saying any of that, but I am saying that off TV, it's not that same energy. And to quote one of the great poets of our time, one of our rap forefathers, Pimp C, you know, blank words talk a lot of blank from a safe place. I couldn't curse because Dee Dee asked me to stop cursing. Just look that up. Pimp C quote. But yeah. Do you know the quote, friend?
No, I don't.
I'll DM you the song after this.
Okay, thank you. So now, don't forget. So the next question is, you know, on the internet, people always come up with their assumptions and, you know, what they think was going on. And for some reason, the viewers were saying alcohol was involved. They didn't say anyone else, but they were just like, I was drinking the show. That's why she was behaving.
Wait, so do what? Who said what?
Hold here, you have an echo. So maybe you might need to lower your volume a bit.
Okay, I turn it down. So, you know, I'm reading the comments because, you know, I want to make sure I have the right information. So the viewers were, you know, saying that you were drinking alcohol, which I'm sure everybody was drinking alcohol. So was there a lot of alcohol involved? Because they were, I guess, trying to say why you were talkative or you were, because they don't know you personally.
Yeah, I'm talking because I have a mouth, and that's what mouths are for. Like, I don't know. Let me address these people, please, if I may. I'm just a talkative person. And you know what? I do my talking in person and on TV, and you do your talking on Twitter. So what's up? Next question. Okay, so I'm sorry, I didn't want to, I said I wasn't gonna do that tonight. As far as alcohol, the first day they had champagne, but sparingly. Like you came in, they gave you a glass, and like even like so if you were, and sometimes like you were filming and like maybe something happened or you put your glass down, you got it mixed up, they would have to bring you a glass of that exact amount because they didn't want the like it to look crazy on film. But we only had champagne the first day and it wasn't that much. Oh, and it had some wine coolers. And I told them, I was like, you've never seen me on TV drinking a wine cooler. Now, at home, a different story, child. But I can't be on TV drinking Seagrams. They already think I'm crazy. Imagine if I was on TV drinking a Seagrams from a can.
I get it, girl.
So
that was like one of the things that I was reading because people just automatically assume like, well, if Ida lay off the drink, so I'm surprised you haven't read that. It was just like, okay, well,
I don't read the comments on the internet because everybody knows where to find me, and I'm not hard to find, and I don't do that for my sake. And as far as the alcohol, that's just odd that people would say that because that's unfounded. So that's unfounded. I wonder if anybody else had these accusations. I don't know. I think that if people want to get to know me, I'm very nice. And if you want to be my friend, you can friend me on Instagram and like we can be friends. But this is not elementary school. Like you don't get to talk shit about me and then be like, I just talk crazy about you because I want to be your friend. We're not in 5th grade. So again, I do my talking in real life on the computer screen.
Now I have to ask that question because when I saw that part of that episode, that thing had me crying laughing. What was up with you asking Christian about his ankles being moisturized?
I made a pure, honest observation. I was walking across the little like area by the pool, and I was okay. So first of all, Christian, David, and Ron were all dressed alike. So when I first met them, I was like, y'all look like y'all go to Bel Air Academy. Maybe they didn't like that. I don't care. They all look like they go to school with Carlton. Don't care. I said it. So so when I saw Christian, I was trying to differentiate them because I just met them and they were all dressed alike. And I looked down and he had on like loafers with no socks. But I was like, it wasn't like a Jergens moisturization. I knew he was using the butters. And so I was like, it's so moisturized. And so anybody who knows me knows that like I'm obsessed with like moisture and skincare and like cocoa butter and shea butter and like I'm obsessed with skincare, and like I'm the person that's like I will wake up and like a grease spot in my bed, like because I just went to sleep just soaked in coconut oil. But he was like, yeah, he was telling me what he used, and I was like, have you ever tried shea butter? And he was like, yeah. I was like, no, not the yellow one, but the white one, because they have a white one and the yellow. Like we were like dying laughing. Like we had such a good conversation. After that, we talked for like 30 minutes, and we talked about like everything. And I was like, man, it's crazy because those are like details that I noticed. And he told me, he was like, man, listen, I was in my car and I was sitting in my car waiting on them to come bring me to the house because we met. Like the girls met offsite at one location and the guys met offsite at one location, and they brought you in one at a time in like the intervals that they chose. He was like, I was sitting in my car waiting on them. I looked at my ankles. I was like, oh, he was like, man, I'm so happy I had it in the car. I was like, me too, because if you'd have came in the ankle Ash, I would have said that. So it was a really like it was a funny conversation that we had, and it actually like that's when we hit it off when we started talking about that. So it was a good conversation, and I like Christian, and Christian is moisturized, and a lot of people could take notes from him. And if you're wondering, Vaseline, just like lotion, just ain't no lotion. Lotion is not for Black people. I just feel like the level of moisture he had, you had to be there to see it.
Because after you made that comment to him, you had me feeling like when I leave the house, I have to make sure I will moisturize because I don't want to go out in public and I got some
I can
ashy
tell you
ankles.
moisturize, and I can tell you also moisturize your beard too, and that's important. I know you moisturize your beard too.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I really do.
You probably do like this too, but like you like the rest of them. It's like it has a little sheen to it, but it's not too shiny.
Yeah.
I like it. I noticed that when we first got on here. I was like, yep. Oh, you see what he did? That's a thirst trap. Okay, what's the next question? Y'all playing with me. What's the next question?
Come on, Dee Dee. Stop blushing.
You're turning red over here. Get away from me with this. Away from me with this.
Look, you have me lost for words. I'm sorry.
I didn't find love on the internet.
Baby, come back.
Baby, I didn't find.
But thank you very much, Ida. I appreciate that.
That was all 100. If I thought you was happy, I would have sent you the link to the shea butter I use. But you're not answering though.
Okay, when you got voted off, you seem very emotional. What really was going through your mind? Because you actually shed a tear, and you said the guys were grabbing on your booty, and now they're voting you off. So I felt when it got to that point, I felt a certain type of way, and I just really wanted to know what really was going through your mind. How did you feel?
So so at that point, I was actually like teary-eyed because I was pissed off. So when I got eliminated, they were like, you come out. I came out the door and they were like, so like when I was walking past that bar, they were like, producers were like over there, like duck down, like keep walking. Like when you get outside, walk to the corner. The corner was like super far. So they wanted to film me like walking all the way to the corner. When you get to the corner, make a right. I'm like, y'all really pushing it right now. So then they like come back to the restaurant and then they're like, we want you to sit in this car and wait. So while I'm in the car, I find out they want me to sit in the car while everybody else leaves the restaurant, and then they'll interview me. So it was more so like I was annoyed and pissed, and it just kind of came out that way. And so finally, like when they came and got me out the car, they were like, well, we took everybody back to interviews, and if you want, you can go like find something to do for a few hours and come back and do your interview. And I was like, excuse you? So like, now I'm sequestered because I got eliminated. Like I'm a leper now. It was really me being pissed off. And one of the things I told them that they did not air was I feel that I've been disqualified by some unqualified men. And what I mean by that is that like stand by what you said. Like tell me why you feel like I'm not ready. I'm not going to say ready to love because that's not really, I feel like that's just the term they use. It's like a, terms that's the name of the show. But I felt like I knew that with the exception of maybe Troy and David, I did talk to David. Me and David had a few laughs, but like David and I weren't like, it wasn't like a romantic connection, but like David could definitely be the homeboy that I'd be like, you want to go get some drink? He's like, yep. And then like we go to the bar and like talk about people all night. Like David's cool, but like it wasn't a connection there. And Troy, I just didn't get a chance to talk to Troy. Troy's busy. So I just felt like things were unfair based on if you look at the entirety of what was going on, if that makes sense. So, and also based on like my interactions with people, it wasn't no swerve. It wasn't no, I think this. No, it was literally like people being like, hey, whew, I'm trying to give the audience to you that you look like royalty in that dress. I'm like, thank you. What's your name? You know, it was a lot of that action. So it was like for them to come the next day and then have this conversation, allegedly, because I wasn't there, I didn't show it on TV. That's what they said happened. Was very odd to me. And that's something that I don't like. Say what you mean and mean what you say. If I talked to somebody on Saturday that I wasn't feeling, like I didn't say in their face. Like when I felt like AJ and I, like the connection was getting a little weak. It was getting like 2G, you know, instead of 5G, you know what I'm saying? I was like, okay. It was very nice to meet you. And he was nice. But I moved around. Like you can spend your time with somebody that you may like. But I just didn't feel like it was authentic interactions. And so that made me mad. And so that's what that was about. I wasn't sad because like, I'm never gonna see these men again. Absolutely not.
So I guess you felt betrayed. I say you felt betrayed.
I felt like it was a lot of fakeness going on.
Yeah, betrayed.
But going on, yeah. So I could say I felt betrayed, but I think to feel betrayed, you have to have trusted someone at first. And to me, you don't have to have any level of trust or relationship to just be real and just be yourself. Like I don't have to know you to be real with you, but to trust you, I have to know you. So I just feel like it just wasn't a lot of authenticity in there. And I'm just gonna say that from anybody.
Okay, so maybe I missed it. Who was touching on your booty? Because I was reading the comments.
I feel like, hold on, I'm trying to think of who it was. Because people will be like, okay, so I don't have like what anybody in the comments that knows me know I don't have a lot of ass. But it works for me. And so I feel like people be like thinking they slick, like I'm just gonna rub her back and then go down like just like I feel that. Don't be acting like it has to be a certain size for me to feel it. I feel it. I can't tell you who it was, but I know I can say with all authority that like people were very much like it was very like it was vibe. At one point it just started feeling like a nightclub with no alcohol. It was fun. We were talking, everybody was laughing. You know, it was definitely a vibe.
Hey, good, Ida. Somebody said the party was Troy. Did you get the signature kiss?
No, absolutely not. Now, again, if anybody in the comments know me, they know I do not like to kiss.
Yeah, because Troy's signature move is the kiss. So
Troy and I really didn't talk a lot.
But did you get a signature kiss?
Absolutely not. I think Troy probably was like, I ain't even gonna try her. See, Troy is mature. He went into confessional talking shit about me. He was like, I'm just not, nope. It's so nice to meet you. Like it was like a hi and a bye, and I was like, he was like, okay, we see each other, and that was it.
So Ida, you know, I've been watching some of your interviews, you know, just following you. So you did mention that you were clowned on national TV. So a lot of people, like I said, you said you don't read all the comments and stuff because you know I can understand. I wouldn't want to read all of them. So who is like Ida? So some people are just coming into the live or people that missed the beginning. Like, what do you want the world, the audience, the viewers to know about Ida that, you know, how you got clowned, you know, you felt you were being clowned on like even when they played that song Tripping, they could have took that part out and told you to walk again. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't see that. My sister actually just told me that like 2 days ago. I have not completely watched any episode because the first episode I came in a little late because I was out of town doing me. And so I came in a little late. And so when I came in, it was right before I sat down with Jason. And then I saw Jason in his little thing, like, yeah, I mean, you know, and I was like, let me turn this off. This room on vacation. So I turned it off. And I actually haven't watched it since then. The elimination, I only know what happens in the elimination because they sent us the elimination clips before it aired. And so I was like, well, I don't need to watch the show now. Like, I'm good. So I actually haven't watched it, but just from some of the comments that night after I watched like 5 seconds with Jason, that night I did get on Twitter and it was nothing but God, my phone died, girl. But I just saw some things that were just so untrue about me. And y'all have known me for 50 minutes. And I think you guys can kind of come to the conclusion that like the person on the show, besides being talkative, which last time I checked wasn't a crime, that's just not who I am. I'm not like a ditzy, random person. And I'm not like out here like shooting blanks on people like, oh, I'm just where I don't want, like I'm never anywhere where I'm not wanted, ever. So if that means I stay at home or don't get me wrong, I've been places where I wasn't wanted, but if the vibe is off, like I'm like, listen, I'm out. Like I'm out. I'm done. I don't force myself on anybody. I don't force situations. I don't force things. Friendships, situations, ponytails, nothing. Edges, nothing. I don't force it because you don't have to. Like, you just don't have to. But I just feel like even in the intro episode where they were just like, I don't need a man. That's stupid for me to say that and then be on the show. So that's what I think started people's engines off top. Like, why you on the show then? I didn't say that. I didn't say that. That was a part of an answer. So I just thought that, I was mischaracterized in certain ways, but that's fine. Like I said, this is not new. It just reminds me of like high school where you find out somebody don't like you and want to fight you and you're like, who? Well, which? I didn't even know her. She had 12th grade. I'm in 9th grade. Like, it's like one of those things where you're like, it's so unfair. It's like out of nowhere to me. So I guess that's why it doesn't bother me as much.
So I'm glad we get to meet the Ida, that we didn't see on TV.
Yeah, likewise. But I know with your experience on the show and what you've been through, would you ever apply for a show like Ready to Love again, or would you not consider it?
I would do TV again. I wouldn't do a reality show like this. And I said this in another interview. I feel like the show presents itself as being a platform that has equal footing for men and women. But ultimately, even in the first episode, you see that it's really targeted towards making you like, even if it's the underlying thought, the women are pursuing the men. They didn't show you any of the lame conversations the men had. They didn't show you any of the men getting played. They didn't show you telling me, AJ, yeah, the vibe for me, it's the vibe for me, and walking off. Like, they didn't show, and it wasn't nasty when I told them that. I was just like, yeah, I mean, I was talking, and it just didn't. Like, they didn't show that. They didn't show anything I haven't seen anything to a man's detriment yet, really. But if you watch it, and you see like the people who's kind of like they're kind of keeping out of it, or I guess the people are going to see more later, and maybe they come later. I don't know. I was back at work late in my life by then, but I wouldn't do a show like that again, only because I feel like on this show, it's like, oh, for Black singles, it would have been more. I know they have to do entertainment, but I just feel like it would have been more authentic and more equitable for the men and the women versus like. If they thought I was a clown, which they showed me like I was a clown, if you thought I was a clown, why put me on the show if it was only 10 spots? Why put a clown on the show if this is what you thought I was? You know what I'm saying? So like that's phony to me to begin with. So even though we know I'm not a clown, but if you thought I was, if you thought what you showed was really me, why put somebody like that on the show to begin with if you're really here to help people find love?
Good question.
Questions with no answers.
So I got you, but that's very interesting. Like what you brought to light is very interesting because we look at the show and we actually, well, I do reviews based on what I see on the show. So, but getting to know more about you, and yeah, I'm thank God I'm moisturized, but
baby, if we ain't gonna get on them teeth, we're gonna get on them teeth. I probably looking right at me. Away from me with this.
Yeah, but the show, what the show portray you as, and meeting you, Ida is not this what we saw on the show at all.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's why I was so excited to do the interview with you all, because I'm like, it's gonna be a guy and a girl, and you get both perspectives, and you guys are asking really honest questions, and I'm being like, I told Kia, I was like, you can ask me anything. I'm going to answer it. I'm going to answer it honestly because this is my experience. I'm not slandering anyone. It's like these are true stories. Subpoena the film.
Okay. Thank you so much for clarifying some of the stuff for us.
Of course.
I really appreciate you coming on my channel, and you're always welcome again anytime you want. Because sometimes maybe I might have a go say again, Kia.
I said she need to clear up something again because they still gonna be.
Yeah.
The reunion is coming soon, so
yeah. So
we'll see what happens.
I'll most likely I'll reach out.
Okay. Before the reunion, after. Okay, you got my information.
All right, Ida. But any last words? Any last words, Ida? Anything you want to say to?
No, yeah. If you wanted my friend,
any advice you want to give anybody? Anything you want to say to the people in my chat?
Oh no! Don't listen. Don't take no advice from me. I'm single. Hello. You think me sending a apartment now? If you want some career advice or something, I got you on that. But if you have any questions, any polite questions, you can DM me at IMC713 on Instagram, and I will keep it 100 with you. If you come in my comments talking reckless, I'm gonna call my sister on you. And also, I'm just gonna say this. I'm a person like everybody sits at home and talks crap about people on TV, but like just be nice because like I'm somebody's daughter, I'm somebody's sister, I'm somebody auntie, somebody fly auntie. Yeah. Be nice, like my goodness. And if you have a question, you can just come to me. Like the other day, somebody DM'd me and she was like, "Hey, I thought you were beautiful and you seem very nice, but you talk a lot on the show. I just want to tell you that." And I was like, "Hey, thank you for your constructive feedback. I talk. What is the crime in talking?" So anyway, long story short, we ended up like, I was just like, I ain't mad at your feedback, but it's a lot of stuff you didn't get to see. And she was like, "Well, that's true. So I wasn't trying to come at you sideways." And I was like, "No, I didn't take it that way." And she was like, "Shit, I live in Vegas. If you live in Vegas, hit me up." I was like, "Girl, say less." Like, I'm like, if you can be constructive or if you just have a question, everybody who knows me in the chat will tell you, like, I'm like a really nice person. But you just have to be constructive and nice. That's all.
Didrik clarified that for me because Khalil did an interview and then he spoke about you, and he said that you would probably see a homeless person need something, you would go in your pocket and give them something. He said that that's the type of person you are. So then I was like, oh, I really need to reach out to Ida.
If it's my first time seeing them. Now, it's some career bums out here in Houston, child. Okay, so like, listen, in my Instagram story, it was this lady. I'll let y'all go up to this for real. This lady came up to me at the gas station by my house. She's like so hungry. She really wants something to eat. I'm like, all right, fine. I wasn't going in the gas station, but I go in there. She was like, well, I really want some Taco Bell. I was like, well, sis, there's some McDonald's right here. What we doing? So I went in the McDonald's. I stood in the line. I bought her the food. Came out. She was gone. This was 2019. I can be petty. So like maybe like 2 months ago, she pulled up on me again. Hey, I said, I remember you. Same gas station in front of McDonald's. So she was like, I remember you too. You cut your hair. I said, I did cut my hair. So see, now you're a career out here. And so we end up just like having a conversation. Like, and she was like, all right, I'll see you later. I was like, bye girl. Like, but yeah, I bought her the food. McDonald's sat in my car all day. It didn't even emit a smell because it's not real. But yeah, I bought her the food the first. But you know what? That wasn't my first time meeting her. I met her at Starbucks one time and I gave her some money at Starbucks. So I didn't tell her that at McDonald's, but the third time, I was like, sis, no.
What you call them, career bums?
Career bums. Yeah, like they be out there, like, every single day, or like the ones that you give $1 to and they like about
Ida, you give us all kind of vibes. You are hilarious.
Yeah,
I love y'all. Fantastic. I will, anytime you guys want me to come on, I will. After the reunion airs, then
Well, for sure, I'll have you back after the reunion because we have to see how that plays out. But I really enjoy. I know
it's gonna be some juicy stuff on the reunion. Who's gonna be trying to touch on your booty at the reunion?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we listen, I'll save all of that. And after the reunion, send it to it.
After the
I'm trying to be
reunion.
respectful of people because I'm nice. I'm nice.
No, honestly, you guys, anyone that's watching, when I reached out to her, she was just so nice. I was like, am I talking to the right person? Like, not that you're not nice, but you know how you think that you're like on the wrong Instagram, but she was just so open. So I was like, okay, that's what's up. So you guys,
Yes, we're friends now.
From the Detroit.
Are y'all both in Detroit?
No, he's in St.
No,
Lucia.
I'm in the Caribbean, but she's Kia is from Detroit.
Are you gonna ask me to send you to a Western Union after this? I'm kidding. The answer is no.
Right. You said he's moisturized.
No.
The answer is no. You keep rubbing my mustache. I'm gone, y'all. I'm gone. Keep rubbing my mustache. Let me cover my screen right here. You see me cover my screen, I'm covering him because he keep doing this.
You made him nervous. He don't blush often, but Didi, he's
After he didn't tell me how he be moisturizing, he gonna be like, listen, I need $100 certified U.S. funds. I'm like,
no.
No, okay. I gotta take up from my brother. He's not like that. He's a nice guy.
I'm kidding. Oh,
I know you played, Ida. Trust me, I know you played.
I gotta take up for my brother because people be in the internet be like, yeah, Didi out here. That's
you know what? It's a cap because that's not even the right cultural group. I've never gotten a scam email from the Caribbean. However, like I told you, anytime you meet somebody from the Caribbean, they'd be like, yeah, I want to take you back to the Caribbean. You'd be like, do you need my last name for the ticket or like, and they just disappear. So whatever. Detroit, I'm gonna come through. I heard y'all got casinos out there.
Okay, like I said, holla Kia Simone, Detroit,
When I pull up, she's gonna be like, can you please show me? But I'm a video catch Instagram. Hey boo.
But have you ever been to any Caribbean island before, Ida?
Does Puerto Rico count? That's kind of the
Puerto
Caribbean.
Rico, yeah, it's Spanish. Yeah, it's Spanish.
Not any other islands. But I do have my passport, and I'm getting my second vaccine next week. So what's up?
All right, that's good.
All right.
But that's all I can say. I'm moisturizing, so I just have to just keep on moisturizing, and that's all I can say.
The real butters will last you a day or two. The real butters will last you. I'll bring you some butter from the mainland.
Africa.
No, the mainland is America. Not the motherland, the mainland. Anyway, we'll talk about that later.
You need one from the motherland, Africa.
That's the thing. Like they sell like shea butter and stuff here, and they say it's from Africa, but there's no way you're selling shea butter from Africa in the beauty supply for $3.99. Stop it.
Yeah, Africa got some good stuff.
We'll talk about that later. Kia, we're going to Africa.
But like I said, again, thank you for coming. I really appreciate it.
Most
likely I'll reach out to you after the reunion so we can probably catch up again. And Kia, any last words to Ida?
No, I just want to thank her for coming on because she took a chance with us and she was open. So thank you, Ida, for just showing Didi's channel some love. So thank you.
Of course, anytime. Thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, because I also have some more interviews coming throughout the season with other cast members. So you were my first cast member, and I got some more coming. So guys, on 3, we out of here. And
I need to subscribe and like.
You know how we're gonna leave this live? We're gonna say moisturize.
Moisturize.
On 3.
And we're not talking about gasoline intensive care because that's not moisturizing.
So thank you, Michelle, for the super chat. On 3, we're gonna go 1 to 3. Moisturize.
Okay.
On 3.